So now I'm going to show you how to set up a repo in GitHub, a repository. First thing you need to do is you need to create an account at GitHub. So just go to GitHub, sign up, pretty straightforward. And the next thing you should know about GitHub is that if you search for GitHub Student Developer Pack or just GitHub Student, you could come to GitHub Student Developer Pack, and here you could, apply or something, get your pack. That's where you do it. You don't actually get a backpack, but you get a pack of free stuff, including private repositories. So totally worth it, and go do it, and you get some free things from different companies. All right, so once you're signed up, you will come to GitHub. It'll look like this. You're going to create a new repository, so go to your profile, just right there. And there's a million ways you could do this. I'm going to show you the way I like, but don't be surprised when other people are like, whoa, you do it that way? I totally do it a different way. So this is the way I like, and there's a lot of ways to do it. So now that you're here, you could go to repositories. People just refer to them as repos most of the time. So I'm just going to go to my repos right here and create new. So I just click new. And so I'm just going to call this sample. And you can see I've gone through here once before and threw that video away because it took too long. All right, so I created a sample, and I'm not going to add anything here. I'm just going to type in a name and create repository. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I don't add anything, I get this. And if I was to add something, so I'm going to create a new repository, my profile, repositories, new, and let's say, I call this sample 2. And I added a git ignore for Go programming, and we'll learn about git ignores in a bit. And I added a license, right? And I create my repository. It takes me to a different page, right? This one took me to this page where I didn't add anything. This one takes me to this page. So these instructions for me are really important. And this is the way I like to set up my Git repos and connect them with my computer. So, that's where I like to come to. And this code in particular is important to me, and because it has these 2 lines, which I totally need to connect it with my computer. And so by not adding anything, I'm showing this code again. So I'm going to take this code, and I really like it. So I'm going to Command C to copy it. And come up here, and I'm going to open up this gist area. So a gist is just like some code you want to keep, and you could create a little gist. And so I'm just going to call this GitHub repo setup code. And I'll paste it in here, and then I could just create a public gist, right? And I'm at GitHub gist, and so now I see all gist, GitHub, new gist, right? And come here, your gists, and so I could come in here, and I could look at my gists, gist, whatever they're called, and I could see, oh yeah, here's some code I like, right? Different little snippets. I could click on this to come back in, right? And I can delete it, I can edit it. So I'm going to edit that, and I want to change it. I'm just going to get rid of this. So it's saying right here, first create a README file, and instead of, I guess we'll do it that way, right? But actually I like this right here. I'm going to change it from add README to add -- all, because I think that's a better way to do it. So that's the way you should do it too. So I just changed that one word. And so we'll do that here. And so I'm going to update that. There we go. So I'm going to follow these instructions. So at the terminal, I'm going to copy that, and I created this repo sample, and that's the one I want to work with. So on my computer, let me delete the one from the previous video, which I threw away. I'm going to go to Documents, and then click File, New Folder, and I could call this anything I want. I'm going to name it, and I recommend doing this the exact same name as the repo that I created up at GitHub. Just so I'll know, oh, that repo sample on GitHub is connected to this folder sample on my computer. Makes sense, right? And so now if I go to my terminal and I go to my home directory, and I could cd to get there, and then I print working directory, it says that's where you're at. I could do an ls to list, and I can see, oh, there's documents, and cd, change into documents, and then ls to list, and then I can see, oh, there's sample, so cd into sample, and then ls to list. And when I do else, it lists nothing. If I do else-la, list all, okay, lists all that stuff. Cool. So the first thing it tells me to do is, in these commands, is create this little README file. And so this is saying, echo means print, and print this, and put it into that file, right? So I could run that command. And that might be a little bit of a mysterious command, but there it is. And we could do an ls, and now it shows, hey, there's a README file in there, right? It was just dot, 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 and now it's that README. And if I wanted, I could cat that README. We learned about cat, and printed out the contents of it. Well, that's pretty cool. One more thing you might try is you might just create some other file, right? We learned how to create a file like sample file.txt, and that'll open up the Nano editor, and here's a sample file. And then down here I could do Control X to exit, and then save that, and yes, Y, and then file name to write, sample file. Cool. So I created another file. So if I ls-la to see what's in this directory now, I've got my README and I have my sample. All right, so I just needed to create some file in there. Now I'm going to run this command, git init. And so remember that when we do ls-la, it's got this stuff in this directory right now. When I do git init, initialize empty git repository. Okay, cool. And if I do ls-la again, it's got that empty, it's got this right there, that git folder. So that folder right there, those are like all of this is all the magic for Git. So remember, Git was created by Linus Torvalds, and it was in 2005. And then that's for like version control and keeping track of, you know, your code as you code and what's changed. And so all that magic's happening in this folder. That's like the hidden folder where it's keeping track of everything that's happening in this directory, the sample directory, right? So that's what it means to initialize Git repositories. It puts this folder there. And remember that Git's different from GitHub, just FYI. And GitHub was created in 2008 to be the hub where you do Git stuff, right? So there's my Git folder, and that's what that is. So that means it's been initialized as a Git repository. So now I'm going to, I did that one right here. Now I'm going to do git add dash all. So git add dash all. Cool. And the next one I'm going to do is git commit dash m first commit. So these are flags, and the flags are like, you know, just added information to some command. So here's the git commit command. I'm going to add the flag m, which means I'm including a message, and the message I'm including is information about this commit. So first commit adds, and then these messages can be anything you want. Adds, you know, 2 files, whatever. And so then it tells me, okay, first commit adds 2 files change, 2 insertions, right? Create, you know, so whatever, it did some stuff. And now I just copy this command, right? And this is going to connect my computer with the GitHub and the Sky, right, at GitHub. It'll connect the sample folder on my computer with the sample folder on GitHub. That's what that line does. And then I do git push uorigin, and that's going to push all the code that's on my computer up to GitHub. Cool, so that's all done. And now if I go look at this sample repo, it's got those 2 files. Whoa, right? So there's that file. Here's a sample file that I created. Wow, that's totally cool. And it put my commit message right here. First commit adds 2 files. So when you go and you look at my different repos, you'll see all the different commit messages. And I have notoriously unprofessional commit messages because I'm in academia and I've never had a boss busting my chops to write appropriate commit messages. So my commit messages are like dude or like holy cow, or, you know, sometimes they're pretty good, right? But anyhow, you can see all the different commit messages here, right, from different commits that I made. So that's creating your first repository on GitHub, and now that you have a repository created, I just want you to know and have the assurance that you could create them and you could delete them. You could totally delete them. So I no longer want the sample2 repository. I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to scroll down to the danger zone, delete this repository. I have to type in the name of the repository, and then it becomes active, and bye-bye sample2. That's gone. And I could do the same thing here with settings, even though I have so much beautiful work there. I could take sample, put in the name of it, and then delete it, and bye-bye, that one's gone. So those are no longer part of my profile or anything like that. All right, and so to get back from the gists back to GitHub, just GitHub, and then you're back out of your gists. And then to get back to your gists, it's right there. So that's like a really cool little thing, right? Like GitHub, it's pretty awesome. You're a member now. You've got an account. You've created your first repo. You've seen that code and how you use it. I've shown you the Todd way of creating repos and connecting the folder on your computer to the folder up in the sky on GitHub. And in the next video, what we're going to look at are some basic commands. Cool, we're getting down the list. We did this one right here, GitHub repository creation, and then we're going to look at the basic GitHub commands for just doing your work in GitHub.